If your asylum case with USCIS is stuck and you're not sure what can possibly be done to move it forward, well, then this video is for you. I'm going to address 5 persistent myths about the most powerful tool at your disposal to force your asylum interview and decision. Because you see, I find that this tactic, suing the government in what's called a mandamus lawsuit, is poorly understood. You see, there are a lot of misconceptions out there about it, and I believe fully in its power to change lives. So I want to correct some of these misguided beliefs. Stick with me to the end of this video because you really need to see myth number 5. It's widely believed and it's keeping a lot of deserving people from getting their case resolved. I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum lawyer, well, I help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. Let me know in the comments if you've got an asylum case pending, and I'd especially like to hear from you if you've been waiting for an asylum interview for multiple years. All right, briefly, by way of background, a mandamus lawsuit is a case that you bring in federal court where you're asking the judge to issue an order to USCIS compelling the agency to give you your interview and your decision. The government is supposed to act in a reasonable time on your application. And when they don't do that, well, you can sue them. So here are 5 widely believed myths about this process, the mandamus lawsuit. Number 1, I don't stand a chance in suing the mighty US government. Chances for success must be really, really low. Now, while it might sound like you're gearing up for a David versus Goliath showdown in taking on the US government, the reality is far from it. Remember, USCIS is bound by law to act within a reasonable time on immigration applications. And when they don't, a mandamus lawsuit isn't just a shot in the dark, it's a spotlight on their duty to act. And believe me, when a federal judge agrees that the delay in your case is unreasonable and issues a command that USCIS move the case forward, well, USCIS listens. But you see, most of the time, you don't even have to fully fight the case out in federal court. Instead, if you've been waiting a long time, the government lawyers, well, they know that you're likely to prevail on the claim. So instead of fighting the case, they just give in. They get your interview scheduled and ensure that a decision will be issued quickly in exchange for you agreeing to dismiss the mandamus lawsuit. And to be sure, if certain conditions are met and the lawsuit is handled correctly by your lawyer, then there's every reason to be hopeful that it will succeed. Now, while I must tell you that past performance does not guarantee future results, I am proud to tell you that as of the time that I'm filming this video, every single mandamus lawsuit that my law firm has filed has been successful in achieving its objective, in getting our clients their asylum interview and decision. I'm telling you, mandamus is a powerful, effective tool. Okay, on to mandamus myth number 2. I need to wait many years before filing. I hear a lot of people say that they believe that you need to wait an eternity, say 7 to 10 years, before even thinking about filing a mandamus lawsuit. Now, it's true that patience is a virtue, right? But let's not turn it into a vice. The law doesn't require you to wait indefinitely. And the crux of a mandamus lawsuit is whether the delay in your case is unreasonable. And yes, while it's true that there's no hard and fast rule defining exactly what unreasonable means in this context, it certainly does not translate to nearly a decade of waiting. From my experience, both as an immigration officer and now as an asylum lawyer, 3 years is a reasonable benchmark to consider action. Have you been waiting even longer? Well, your case for filing just got stronger. Listen, we're talking about your life, your dreams, and your rightful pursuit of safety and happiness. Don't let some misplaced notion of required wait times deter you from seeking justice. If you applied for asylum at least 3 years ago and you've not gotten a decision, then I think you're in a pretty strong position to force action through a mandamus lawsuit to force your asylum interview and your decision. By the way, if you want to maximize your chances for asylum success, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you don't miss the insights that I share here on this channel. All right, myth number 3. Other methods are probably just as effective as a mandamus lawsuit for getting my interview scheduled, right? We really need to debunk this idea that other methods to try to get progress on your stalled asylum case are just as effective as a mandamus lawsuit. Now, yeah, it's true that there's a whole arsenal of tools at your disposal. You can call the asylum office, email them, you can have a congressman inquire about your case on your behalf. And you can even submit an ombudsman inquiry. But let's be real, if these methods were as effective as we hoped, I wouldn't be here discussing mandamus lawsuits. These other approaches are often met with silence or polite deferrals. The same is true of expedite requests based on urgent humanitarian concerns. They simply don't work very often. All these methods lack the compelling legal weight of a federal lawsuit. A mandamus lawsuit does not politely ask for action, it demands it, and this demand carries the authority of the federal court. It's not just another attempt to get your case noticed. It's a powerful mechanism to ensure your case is not just seen, but acted upon. It is, hands down, the best way to get your asylum case unstuck. Okay, next. Myth number 4. The process is going to require extensive personal involvement by me. It's going to be exhausting. Okay, I know you're probably exhausted from having poured so much effort into your asylum case already. That's heavy stuff. It's a lot of work and it's emotionally draining. So you may not be thrilled about the prospect of repeating those kinds of efforts in yet a new claim, in your mandamus claim. And I know that the legal landscape can seem daunting, right? The thought of federal court might send shivers down your spine. But here is the very good news. When you work with an experienced lawyer, the burden isn't on your shoulders. Your asylum claim demands tons of your time and attention, but mandamus does not. Filing a complaint, navigating the federal rules of civil procedure, and engaging in negotiations, well, it's all handled by your legal team. Your role? Just continue focusing on your life and preparing for your asylum interview. You won't be asked for your mandamus case to write lengthy statements or documents or to stand up in court and argue your mandamus case. Rest assured, your lawyer is doing the heavy lifting. Okay, finally, mandamus myth number 5. Filing a lawsuit could negatively affect my asylum case. Listen, I completely understand the fear that filing a lawsuit against the government could somehow backfire, damaging your underlying asylum case. It's a reasonable worry, this concern that the asylum officer will hold it against you in your underlying asylum claim. But let me put those fears to rest. Asylum officers tasked with reviewing your case might not even be aware of your mandamus lawsuit. And even if they are, well, I really don't think that they'll care. The United States has a robust legal tradition where recourse to the courts is a fundamental right, not an act of defiance. Suing to get what's legally owed to you is seen as a legitimate step. It's not a black mark against your name. It's an exercise of your rights. Furthermore, asylum decisions are made based on the merits of your case, not on whether you've demanded timely processing of your application. So breathe easy, okay? The law is on your side, and using it will not jeopardize your asylum claim. If you're ready to take the next step and get help with your asylum case, or you want to learn more about moving your case forward with a mandamus lawsuit, then please call my office today. The number is 713-909-0401. And remember, we help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you live. So call us today to schedule an asylum strategy session so that we can help you secure your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's an honor to support you in your asylum journey.